Okay, let's get into this one. This is Hive 16. Tiny swarm was placed on the top in the newspaper combine, and number 16 original queenless was on the bottom. And I'm glad to be in the shade. Man, that was hot. Big spider running off with carrying a bee. One of those beneficial bee-eating spiders. Okay. I see bees from here to here, so they're still on their original 5 frames that I've dropped in apparently. I can't tell yet what the newspaper looks like. It's a little bit intact, but I see a lot of holes in it, the newspaper. So these are just empty frames I'm moving aside. Nothing going on here, just a full drawn out frame from another hive that we've reused, and they're not putting anything in it yet. So that's empty, no eggs. We've got capped brood, and the empty cells are being backfilled with nectar, which could be the sign that the queen isn't laying in here right now. So we'll see what else we see in there. But you want those empty cells to be backfilled by the queen, not by the worker bees putting nectar in there. Again, the same thing. I do see larvae and eggs on this frame. So she is in here laying. And there she is right there. She's got a little bit of red on her. So that's the tiny swarm queen from last year. Actually, she's from this year. Or maybe she was from last fall. That's what it was. She was last fall's queen, and I marked her this year with the red ink. The sun's getting to my brain. It's hot out here. So a few of those have nectar, and a few of those have larvae in them, in the empties. So she's laying, but not really heavy. Capped brood, same thing. This frame, in fact, right around in here, is completely full of larvae and eggs. So she's laid this side up pretty good right here. So it looks like she's taken to this combine just fine. Starting to kick in, doing some laying. This one has a lot of eggs in it, so she's laying good. Eggs and larvae. So she's adapted to the combine, and she's in full-scale laying mode. I'd say she's laying more than that queen that we just looked at over there. Now let's get this top off and get this newspaper cleaned up. Okay, so they've ate away most of this paper just like the other hive, which when you do a newspaper combine in 2 weeks, that's what you want to see. I think a previous combine I showed on another hive, they were so weak that they didn't even eat through the paper. I think that may have been this same tiny swarm on the top that's here. I wound up adding brood frames to them to keep them going. So by keeping that tiny swarm alive, I was able to use it on this hive here. My hive tool that I like to use, I couldn't find it, so I think it may be over in the barn. This is a good tool, but it's too thick on the end, so it's hard to get a good bite between these deep frame or these deep boxes when you're splitting them apart. Not sure where I got this. This says Man Lake on it. So the cheap one I got from China on eBay, I like it better than this Man Lake one. This Man Lake one's a lot heavier duty, but it's too thick down on the end where you want it sharp. And it's stainless, so you can't just go throw it on a grinder and sharpen it. Or maybe you can. Maybe that's aluminum you're not supposed to sharpen or grind. Okie Rob will set me straight on that one. He knows all about that stuff. So let's take a look down in here real quick just to see what we see. Because we're in the shade, and I'm not almost to have a stroke right now. So they're not doing much down in here either. Just a little bit of pollen there and nectar. Pollen and honey. So this is where the old queen was down in here laying before, but the new queen hasn't been down there yet, looks like. But even if she did go down there, there's no empty space for her to lay. They don't have any comb prepared for her, so she'll probably stay right up where she's at. This is all filled in pollen. Wait, I see larvae down here. Okay, so she has been down here. So she's laid up this whole frame down here as well. So she's laying in the top and the bottom, which is good. I don't know if you can see in there. Little white grubs are the larvae. So I'd say most of those, well, some of these are eggs. The ones to the top, these are about ready to cap up in here. And down here, these are eggs where she has just laid them. So she's been down here and laid this frame up. So this hive is going to be nice and strong for the fall flow. That's just nectar there in that little spot. Nectar and pollen. There's an old supersedure queen cell. Probably from that queen that didn't make it before. One more frame, we'll get out of here. Putting a lot of nectar in there. A lot of nectar in there. There's quite a few drones hanging around in here from all those drone cells that have emerged from that failing queen that was laying unfertilized eggs that turn into drones. All right. Let's get the top back on. So hopefully 2019 this hive will emerge coming out of winter and just be cranking, make lots of honey. Okay, that's the end of this video. 2 combines are successful, which is great. We got 2 laying queens. This one's even laying down in the bottom in her area that wasn't where she normally laid, because she was just a one frame or a one box beehive, and now she's going down and laying into the second box, which is the bottom. So that's good. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up if you would. It helps me get my channel out there and get more subscribers. So consider subscribing if you haven't either. And we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.